Welcome back to the channel, The Real Ish. Alright, so this video right here is going to be a movie review of the movie Undertone. I just saw this movie. I believe I saw this movie last Friday. I'm going to get my thoughts on this, and I'm not going to make this too long, but I'm going to get my thoughts on this Undertone movie. Alright, so in case you don't know, haven't seen a preview of it, never heard of it, have no idea what I'm talking about. The Undertone movie is about a podcast host covering spooky content, moves in to care for her dying mother. When sent recordings of a pregnant couple's paranormal encounters, she discovers their story parallel hers, each tape pushing her toward madness. Okay, so the release date in the US for this movie was March 13th, the day I went to see it. But it says it's a 2025 Canadian supernatural horror film. So we're just not getting this in the States. It's been released already in Canada. All right, so I'm gonna just jump into it. This movie was pretty good. I like this movie. As it says, the girl moves in with her mother. I think her name's Evie. Her mother is sick. Soon as you know, when it comes on, you see that she's taking care of her mother. Her mother's bedridden, and she's there to take care of her mom, or to the best of her ability. And she hosts this podcast with her friend. I think his name was Justin. I think his name was Justin. That's her co-host. And he sends her these recordings that he had gotten. So he sends her these recordings that he got in his email. And, I guess they get things that are sent to them, blah, blah, blah. So he already had listened to, I think, the first one or something like that. They decided to listen to him, and each time they get like really eerie. And as it states, it starts paralleling her life. And the guy on the tapes, I forget the couple's name, he was saying how he felt like his girlfriend, or whoever she is to him, his girlfriend talks in her sleep or whatever. And at first they thought it was just a simple case of like sleepwalking and talking, like that. But it really becomes more disturbing as they listen on. And this person, she's like really, I don't know, talking some stuff in her sleep. It's really weird and creepy. And I can imagine like laying next to somebody in the bed at night, and then they're starting talking some weird stuff, and you're like, what are you saying? What are you talking about? That's kind of creepy. So yeah, so he gets these, like, they listen to them, and they're listening to them, and it's like at first kind of not so bad, and then as it goes on, it gets really weird. And then we find out that the girl Evie is pregnant, and so as it states, her situation parallels with their situation over the tapes. As they continue to listen, they wanted to have a baby, or she was pregnant, the girl on the tapes. And then Evie, the main character, is pregnant. And so everything is literally being like a parallel to them on the tapes. And we find out that Evie's pregnant. She has a boyfriend. But what I find to be interesting with this movie, what I do like, I'm going to talk about it already. I'm going to jump around. I like the fact that this movie only has, like, literally, the cast is like a few people. It's literally what you can count on your hand, like maybe like 5 or 6 people, because you have Evie, her mother, her boyfriend that calls her on the phone over and over. You have Justin, the co-host with her, and somebody who calls her on the phone, I think a doctor or something. But this movie doesn't have a whole lot of people in it, and it's very different, and that's what I like about it. That already caught my attention, and I enjoy the fact that the movie was very simple, but it captured your attention immediately. Like a movie has to grab your attention in a matter of a few seconds, because I don't know if it's like 5 seconds or maybe even less than that, because especially nowadays, people's minds are not made to where they can pay attention in a short amount of time. But the details of the movie are very simple. It's a simple, small cast. It takes place in one setting. It's at the house, it's not all every different place. It's not, it takes place in one setting. And that's fine with me. It doesn't bother me because of that. I think it was very straightforward and got its point across very well, in my opinion. I'm not speaking for everybody. But very simple cast, very simple everything. I like the fact that before she puts on her headphones to cancel out the noise to do the podcast, you can hear the clock ticking on the wall, like the loud ticking of the clock. But as soon as she puts the headphones on, she doesn't hear anything. And those little small details might be kind of small to some people, but those type of details are very, very important. But back to the movie itself. If you haven't seen it, these are some spoilers. Now, I have to say, I kind of thought that her mom at one point wasn't even alive anymore, but she was. All right, so the whole point of the movie is it gets into when the guy, Justin, the co-host, he starts doing some investigating while they're hearing the tapes and everything, and they find out about this, like, because the recordings, they're talking about, I said the recordings about the pregnant woman, the guy's girlfriend, and basically after doing research, she's being haunted by like a demonic entity, and they called it a bazoo or something like that. and so yeah, and it's just like I said, it focuses on Evie and her taking care of her mother, and basically that's just the setting. Her taking care of her mom, being burnt out, her basically grieving, also thinking about who her mom used to be, and now that she's not that person anymore, that's taking a toll on her. So I think she uses the podcast as an escape, and so that right there. But anyway, yeah, so basically it's about an entity known as a buzu, a bazoo, or whatever, and that is somebody who likes to take children or something like that. I'm gonna have to look it up. Yeah, I forget how you say it, but yeah, so basically it says, it's a mythical demon, and it refers to child snatching miscarriage caused by, they were saying like it's an ancient folklore, and at first she didn't really believe it, but the guy, Justin, the podcast, the co-host with her, he believed it. And I guess some people are really skeptical, I believe in all that stuff. But anyway, like I said, each file recording that they listen to, it just get worse and worse. And I'm just like, they need to stop. The guy, Justin, didn't want to even listen to the rest of them, but Evie wanted to. And it just kind of, yeah, so that's it in a nutshell, really. And it just focused on that aspect of it, of folklore, ancient entity, demon entity wanting to take children from their mothers and whatever, or people who are pregnant, they make them have miscarriages, or make people do harm to their own children. Like a caller had called into a podcast, and I'm wondering, is this a real person at this point? Because it could have been just to mess with them, but they heard a caller like trying to hurt her baby, and Evie was trying to talk to her and tell her, but she was trying to, I think, drown the baby in the bathtub. So that entity is what caused that, and everything that was happening on the tapes essentially happened to Evie. She was drinking and dealing with the pregnancy, and I don't know, that was her way of trying to get rid of her own baby. It was water running on the tapes. They started running in her house, and at one point her mom was not even in the bed, but her mom was, supposed to be bedridden. So, and then this statue or something she kept, it's supposed to be some type of, I think like religious statue. I can't think of the name of it, but I'm gonna try to find a picture. I put it in, and they're like trying to, she keeps like putting it away off the mom's dresser or whatever, nightstand, and it keeps reappearing. So yeah, but it's just, that's the movie in a nutshell. And then the ending, some people, I don't know if they are confused, because at the movie theater when it ended, it had some people in the back like, oh, that's it just ended like that. Like, it ends very dark, and it suggests that listening, I feel like them listening to the 10th one, it just invited the entity in, and it's taking over her mom and the house, and it just cuts black and it sounds of the struggle. And I feel like it's, I feel like Evie died. I feel like everybody in the house died, so like the entity killed everybody in the house. That's what I thought. And then it went black. I don't know what you don't understand about it, because it sounds like a struggle. So I don't know. You got some people on Reddit that just feel kind of, they just mad how it ended. Said like how the end is just the main character also falling victim to the demon because it targets pregnant women or whatever. But I mean, that's it in a nutshell. It's a simple movie. I don't know how people if you don't really like it, some people think it's fine, some people thought, but that's really what the movie was about. And a lot of the times when she's doing this podcast with the guy, she's like hearing things, and they did a really good job, I feel, of making you wonder, like, while you're watching it, like, does she really hear something? Is someone there? Is someone peeking? What's going on? It's kind of creepy, so I got a creepy vibe from it. It actually was a pretty good movie in my opinion. I would definitely recommend and see it again. That's just my opinion. My overall rating for this movie, I would give it about a 8.5, an 8.5, something like that. Pretty good movie. Pretty self-explanatory in my opinion. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't want to go on and on and on. It went longer than I wanted to anyway, but that's my opinion. Give this movie about an 8.5. Definitely gonna recommend you watch it and let me know what you think. All right, so hopefully it didn't sound like it was all over the place, because I just going off the top of my head, like I said, I saw this movie last Friday. So that's it for this one. Let me know if you've seen the movie. If you want to see it, comment your thoughts below. And remember, any rude, nasty comments will be deleted, blocked, and you will be blocked from the channel, period, point blank. All right, I thank you for all the positive comments that comes my way. Thank you for you guys watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. As always, God bless.